If you asked ChatGPT what your business does right now, there's a very real chance it will give the wrong answer or say it doesn't clearly understand what you do. In this video, I'll show you what actually determines how confident AI is about your business and why that confidence quietly affects who gets chosen. Whether you use it or not, large language models are already forming a working picture of your business, not because someone manually reviewed you, but because these systems constantly absorb public information from across the internet. This is already something serious teams actively optimize for. Most businesses just don't realize yet that this layer exists. ChatGPT doesn't think like a person. It builds a statistical picture of your business from signals, your website, your listings, directory profiles, mentions, and your social presence. From that, it forms a working understanding of what you do, who you serve, and why you exist. When that picture is clear and consistent, the model becomes comfortable talking about you and comfortable recommending you. When it's fuzzy or contradictory, it becomes hesitant, and hesitation is where recommendations quietly disappear. Quietly is what makes it dangerous because nothing feels broken. That's why this almost never triggers urgency until months later, when the numbers finally force it. Over time, that hesitation shows up as fewer inbound leads, fewer high intent opportunities, and slower revenue growth than your business fundamentals actually deserve. The important part is this: that picture isn't fixed. It's shaped by a small number of signals you can actually control. And once you understand those signals, you're no longer guessing, you're diagnosing. There are three primary signals that most strongly determine how confidently AI understands your business. Once you see these, you'll immediately recognize which one is currently limiting your visibility and which one actually deserves your attention. Most businesses never get this level of diagnosis. They just feel the outcome: slower inbound, lower quality leads, unpredictable growth, and they try to fix it with activity, more content, more posting, more ads, more spend. But activity doesn't fix structural signal problems. Signals decide whether that activity compounds or just gets absorbed with very little effect. This is also why businesses eventually move beyond trial and error and start treating visibility as something that's audited and engineered, not guessed at. This is why two businesses can put in the same effort and see completely different results over time. What surprises most people is that it's rarely all three at once. Usually it's one dominant signal quietly holding everything else back. From inside the business, all three problems feel the same. You just feel we should be getting more visibility than this. But the fix depends entirely on the real cause. And when you misdiagnose it, you end up changing the wrong thing for months. It's a difference between how operators experience their business day to day and how it actually competes structurally from the outside. So as I go through these three signals, keep one question in mind. Which one of these sounds most like my business today? The first signal is information clarity. This is how clearly your business describes what it does, who's it for, and why it's different in plain, unambiguous language. ChatGPT doesn't need clever copy, it needs clean meaning. What problem you solve, who you solve it for, and how you're different from the alternatives. When those are obvious, confidence rises quickly. When they're vague or implied, confidence collapses. Most businesses think they're clear because they personally understand what they do. But what the system often sees is we help businesses grow. We deliver innovative solutions. We drive transformation. Those sound meaningful to humans. To a language model, they're nearly empty. When AI can't reduce your business to a simple, confident mental category, it hesitates. And when a system hesitates, it either stays vague or moves on to someone else. That's not punishment. That's simply what low confidence looks like in practice. Here's the fastest clarity check you can do without opening any tools. If a stranger asks what your business does and your answer takes longer than one sentence, or relies on words like solutions, platform, or strategy without specifics, your clarity signal is already weak. And this is exactly where most businesses think they've fixed it, when in reality, they've only changed the words, not the meaning. Real clarity isn't about sounding impressive. It's about being instantly classifiable. If someone heard your one sentence description once and repeated it to someone else a week later, would it still be accurate? Most businesses fail that test. And when humans can't reliably repeat your positioning, machines definitely can't. Even if everything else is perfect, weak clarity still blocks recommendations. If the system can't cleanly place you, it can't consistently send you the right kind of customers. And when the wrong customers arrive, or no customers arrive, growth feels unpredictable, even when your effort, spend, and execution are objectively solid. The second signal is information consistency. This is whether the same meaning appears everywhere the internet talks about your business. ChatGPT doesn't see one version of your business. It sees every public version of your business. When those descriptions align, confidence rises. When they conflict, confidence drops. Your website says one thing, your Google profile says another, a directory describes you differently, an old article frames you another way. To a machine, that looks like uncertainty. This is the signal most businesses believe they've handled, and the one that quietly causes the most damage. Not because people don't care, but because public footprints naturally fragment unless they're occasionally audited as a system. This is why random updates so often don't work. You update the site, but forget the directory. You optimize Google, but leave old coverage untouched. From the inside, it feels like progress. From the outside, that contradiction remains, which is why some businesses keep increasing their marketing spend without ever seeing a proportional increase in revenue quality. This is also why consistency is rarely a one-time fix. As your business evolves, new services, new markets, new positioning, your public footprints keep changing with it. If that evolution isn't deliberately managed, inconsistently slowly creeps back in, which is why for serious teams, this becomes an ongoing alignment problem, not a one-off cleanup task, usually tracked the same way pricing, funnels, or acquisition costs are tracked. In practice, this usually means mapping, correcting, and aligning dozens of small public signals most businesses never realize are even influencing them. Third and final signal is competitive contrast. AI never evaluates your business in isolation. It evaluates you relative to alternatives. When two businesses seem equally capable, the system leans towards the one it understands more cleanly. Not always the best business, just the clearest one. For example, imagine two local accounting firms. One says, "We're a strategic financial partner for business growth." The other says, "We do fixed fee tax and payroll for small businesses in Manchester." To a model, one is a clear category, the other is an aspiration. In most cases, the clearer one gets recommended first. And the more competitive your market becomes, the more brutal this effect is. Because when 10 businesses all look broadly competent, the system has to filter somehow. It doesn't filter on effort. It doesn't filter on how hard you tried. It filters on how confidently it can categorize you. This changes how you should think about marketing. You're no longer just optimizing for people. You're also optimizing for machines. The dangerous part is you never see this competition happening. You don't get a notification when the system chooses someone else. You only ever see the downstream effect: fewer inbound opportunities, slower growth, or leads that seem to bypass you. And by the time that gap is obvious on a balance sheet, it's already been forming for a long time. The hardest part is that you can't accurately evaluate this layer from inside your own business. You experience one surface at a time. The system sees everything at once. That difference alone is why internal intuition is almost always incomplete here. Not because of effort, but because of structural visibility advantage. Now we make this real. Open ChatGPT and type the following. Based on only public information, describe this business, and then type in your business name and your location. What this business most likely does, who it appears to serve, what makes it different from competitors, and finally, how confident it is in that description on a scale from 1 to 10. If the answer is vague or low confidence, that's not a language issue, that's a signal alignment issue. If, on the other hand, the answer is sharp, specific, and confident, that's a real asset. It means your business is already easier to recommend than most of your market. From there, even small improvements compound. You can also run the exact same prompt using one of your competitors' names and compare how confidently the system describes them versus you. This is why this test is so important. It doesn't just show you where you stand today, it gives you a baseline you can compare against in 3 months, 6 months, a year. You're no longer relying on gut feeling. You're tracking whether your business is becoming easier or harder for the system to understand over time. Most people think AI visibility is a technical problem. It isn't, it's a strategic one. It sits in the same category as pricing, positioning, and market selection because it influences who even gets to compete for attention in the first place. I approach this the same way as a strategy partner approaches brand, positioning, or pricing, as a lever to improve the quality and quantity of opportunities your business gets. Everything here is designed for people who actually run businesses, not people who just want to talk about AI.